I know the lighting is weirder today. There's actually a sunroof in this room. I don't know if you guys knew that. So whenever I'm recording kind of more during the day, I actually have light like beaming down on me. So no, it's not the rapture going on right now. I'm just weird lighting. We're talking about flock again. So yesterday I posted a video talking about flock cameras, and the video was titled that flock cameras are not ALPRs. And the whole point of that video was I was talking about and showcasing examples to prove that flock cameras are way beyond the definition of just a typical ALPR, which ALPRs have existed for over 50 years. And the difference between those ALPRs and the flock cameras is mainly just that flock cameras go way beyond just license plates. They actually identify specific details of your vehicle way beyond just text recognition of a plate, and they also track people because there's many examples of them posted towards tennis courts and just walkways where people are just walking, and there's no license plates to be had inside a tennis court, and even an example of them inside a children's gymnasium of a private indoor community center. So not long after I posted that first video yesterday, they actually posted this, which says flock LPR versus fixed video camera. The same camera body, two different jobs. So the hardware of Flock's LPR and video cameras look the same, but the different configurations serve different distinct purposes, capturing searchable vehicle evidence or providing live and recorded video. So immediate question you may be asking is like, why would you have the cameras look the exact same? And I'm sure the reason they'll probably state is something like, oh, just budget reasons or whatever. But, I feel like that is to support. I feel like that is to purposefully cause confusion around which one's which, but that is just personal opinion. Let's go ahead and get into the key points. So the same camera body supports two configurations, with each one designed for a specific function. The two cannot coexist in the same device. So that is something that you should keep in mind as we continue on here. They claim that the two cannot coexist in the same device. Flock LPR captures searchable vehicle images, still photos, and vehicle details, allowing authorized users to receive alerts and search using license plates or vehicle characteristics. This is what we've already talked about. They say vehicle characteristics and whatnot. It searches way beyond just a license plate, so it's more than just a license plate reader. Fundamentally, calling them LPRs is only talking about a brief part of this broader technology. Fixed video provides live and recorded video, giving authorized users visibility into activity at a location. So, like that community center, for example, would have been like the community center, whoever owns it, so like the HOA, I guess, or whatever, right? And understanding the camera's configuration helps set the right expectations for evidence, for the evidence and information it provides. Those are the main points I wanted to take away from this Flock article. So, allow me to direct you to Flock's their own literal website. LPR video integration. Turn your existing video cameras into LPRs. So even as this community note points out here, Flock offers license plate reader video integration to turn existing video cameras into license plate readers, allowing the same camera to perform both functions despite the post claim. So when they say that they can't perform two functions at the same time, they literally can. This is a photo that I didn't share in my last video, but this is something else that came out. This is a flock camera pointed straight at a children's playground, specifically towards the swings and the playset and everything. Like, there's no license plates to be had here, so I would imagine this license plate reader camera here, what they call a license plate reader camera here, is instead the other one where it would be the just video recording regular thing, right? Either way, I still find this creepy, even with knowing that in mind. I also feel like that adds more necessary context to this story that happened, where one of the co-founders of Flock, the vice presidents, logged into the Dunwoody PD's Flock system to look at a camera in a children's gymnastics room of a private business in Dunwoody, and he claimed it was for a quote-unquote sales demo. So this is what I was talking about before. I feel like this adds more context as well, because instead of just the typical what they call license plate reader cameras, they it was instead one of these other just video recording cameras. I feel like they posted this all to try to like be like, hey guys, no, you got it all wrong. See, it's actually way better than what you're thinking. It's actually way nicer and cleaner. See, we actually record. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they posted this all trying to like make it sound like it's actually better than what people thought, when this actually just further and shitifies everything even more. And also just blatantly lying about how the cameras can only be one or the other, can't be both. And then they yet have a portion of their website which talks about how you can do LPR video integration. And fundamentally, that my point of the last video, these are not license plate reader cameras. These are not ALPRs. These are not LPRs. These are fundamentally different technology than the typical ALPRs we've had for the longest time. And I believe that the biggest reason why they try as hard as possible to classify their technology as LPRs is because really everything Flock does is only made possible because the laws around LPRs allow them to get away with this sort of stuff, because those laws were designed and created for a fundamentally different technology. So applying a different technology's label to them allows them to play with a different set of rules than they should have and gives them more capabilities than they should have. And something I think is kind of interesting, see Flock really likes to be very careful with their wording. Let's read this article here where it talks about what Flock LPR cameras do and don't do. So the Flock LPR cameras capture point-in-time images of vehicles in public view, then convert those into searchable vehicle-centric data, license plate characters, time, location, and objective vehicle characteristics as well. So they do even talk about like a missing hubcap, bumper stickers, etc. They say that Flock LPR cameras do not use facial recognition. They don't continuously track a vehicle's movement. Each camera is read in a single event or on a specific roadway. And this is very careful language here because, yes, technically the LPR cameras, well, what they call LPR cameras, don't have literal facial recognition, but what they definitely do have is these cameras placed everywhere. And if they're not the LPR type of cameras that Flock has, then it's the one that literally just records and everything. They have those identifying people and watching people and what they're doing. So they're trying to use this as a way of like, guys, we seriously, we don't track people, and then proceed to talk about that other stuff. Like, I feel like they're really just it's actually crazy. Their own statements are confirming everything we talk about, and yet they're still trying to be like, no, guys, you have it all wrong, right? And the Flock LPR cameras don't continuously track a vehicle's movements. They don't need to continuously track a vehicle's movements if they also log the time, location, and objective vehicle characteristics and everything. And then you also have cameras placed here, and at every single roadway, and you can map out exactly where that person's going because you have a whole network of these cameras placed at every possible road, which is how they are set up in many places, by the way. They have them, there's literally so many places near me where they have a camera pointed this way for this side of the street and then this one for this side of the street, so that there's literally no way they're watching every time you enter or leave. I think that the whole kind of situation here is pretty clear that Flock they are trying very hard to try to push this narrative that they're simply license plate readers, guys. We don't track where your movements are. We don't track people. We don't track any of that stuff. And then yet they are pushing technologies that specifically do this stuff. And then they try to use weaselly wording to mask it. So, and just cause further confusion around the technology, which is really kind of their goal, right? Especially with labeling these license plate readers when they're fundamentally not license plate readers. They have license plate reading functionality, but then they also do so much more than just what a typical license plate reader does. License plate reader cameras, typical license plate reader cameras, they don't identify specific characteristics including bumper stickers and roof racks and all this stuff, and then also put it in an indexable, searchable database where people can just, in the back end, can just type in male with red shirt wearing blue shoes and then get a complete like look into it all. And we even covered this in our last video, is there have been records that have come out already showing some of the searches that police officers have been making, law enforcement and other users of the Flock cameras, some of the stuff they've been typing into the back end of Flock to get a searchable view, and it is legitimately stuff like that, including characteristics of people. So even though you're not using facial recognition specifically to facially recognize people, you're still identifying this guy's a black hat, black shirt, chin hair, all this stuff, and I can search that in and it would scan all those images or video that it's taking and it would identify me and then point me out. An LPR doesn't do this. And then it really begs the question, if an LPR or ALPR doesn't fit the definition of a flock camera, what does? And that's the biggest thing about flock cameras. That's the biggest kind of problem I see with flock cameras, is that there's no singular word or definition, at least currently available right now, that fits what this technology is. And it doesn't cleanly fit into a singular category. There's some where it kind of works, but then it fails because, they do something else totally different too. So the vocabulary around flock cameras right now is very weird. So there really needs to be some kind of definition, some kind of specific word or acronym or something that people come up with to start using to actually describe these cameras that is actually accurate to what they do, instead of ALPRs, which they fundamentally just aren't. Pretty crazy stuff, all in all. That's about it.